Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Go!
Yeah.
Go!
Music to our ears. The Go Team of the Senior Bowl did it again. Ah, yes. You know what? I look at this as revenge for those 1960s losses to Frank Ryan and the Cleveland Browns in the late 60s. I think Frank Ryan could have played quarterback better yesterday.
You might have been able to.
I think he had Frank Ryan's offensive line.
That's right. Dr. Frank Ryan, as a matter of fact. You folks out there, you go Google Dr. Frank Ryan.
There you go.
All right, and this is Victory Monday here inside the SWBC podcast studio, and this is Mick Shots, Bill Jones, Everson Walls, the former Cleveland Brown.
Oh, wow.
Put that on.
I almost forgot that. I almost forgot that.
And yes, how about them Cowboys? That's how you
Cowboys?
open a season. I can't believe that I picked, and you picked, Mickey, a 23-20 win.
But
what was your pick? What was your score?
30 to 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all had it close.
But you know
what
what?
were we thinking?
We had the right winner.
Yeah, we did.
There's not a lot of people out there that had the right winner.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the guys on the morning news went over.
Did they really?
No one picked the Cowboys to win.
They are ready for the collapse.
That's right. They're on collapse watch.
Oh, God. They can't wait for it to happen. You know, they thought it was all set up for that. Dak didn't have his contract at the time. Going into camp, CD didn't have his contract. I mean,
Didn't sign big-name free agents.
We got Zeke. Zeke Elliott's coming back.
Zeke's going to show up on crutches.
I thought Zeke was like 37 years old. I didn't know he was so young. The way they talk about him.
And Cleveland was going to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Oops.
Defensive team of the year, you know.
That's right. Number one defense in the league last year. Number one pass defense. Now, having said that, the Cowboys didn't put up juggernaut numbers on offense, but that's what makes you feel even better about that win is the Cowboys didn't play particularly well and still blew them out.
The second half, was disappointing. Dak even said it. Mike said it, that it got sloppy. My understanding, he was not real happy during the game. A lot of mistakes were being made, especially in the second half. But you're up 27-3. And I don't know if you relax as a player or what, but after Turpin's punt return for the touchdown, I'll tell you what, there were not many happy people in the stands.
I bet.
Quiet game.
They were leaving.
Quiet game.
Midway through the third quarter.
Well, probably right after that punt return.
Yeah.
So early in the third quarter.
All of a sudden, I realized the seats were orange in that stadium.
But in this league, when you get up 27-3, usually it stays around that number, unless you're the New Orleans Saints playing the Carolina Panthers, and then it becomes 47-10. And by the way, that's the next opponent.
Better watch out.
That gets your attention down the hallway here for the coaches. That works out well, getting their attention. Don't get full of yourself after a 33-17 win over the Cleveland Browns that came complete with what's been reported as a 4-year, $240 million contract for your franchise quarterback.
And my understanding is it's going to come in a little bit less than that. So, but we're mincing millions, right? What's the difference between
That's what it's about these days.
57 or
about.
60, right? What's the difference if the whole thing's guaranteed or just $231 million are guaranteed?
$1 million
Optics
more
count,
than that
guys.
quarterback for Cleveland got.
Yeah.
Optics count. Optics count. Always has.
I did think that was the first thing I thought of when I heard $231 million guaranteed. I said, well, you got to get more than the guy that's playing quarterback on the opposing team today. It was $230 million for Deshaun Watson.
Right, yeah. And I bet after that performance.
By the way, and this gets into just the difference in when you look at the young players that in their first NFL game stepped up and played yesterday, went back and looked at the Deshaun Watson trade. They not only got Deshaun Watson in that trade, but they gave up not one, not two, but 3 first-round draft picks, a couple of thirds, and a fourth. And I thought, after that game, you could really tell the lasting effect of the Watson trade. Forget how Watson played, but the makeup of the Browns team. I mean, they didn't have a first-round pick this year, and their second-round pick had domestic violence allegations, whatever, and so he's not playing either. And you can tell the difference in the young talent on both of the teams.
The Cowboys had 11 players making their Cowboys debut and 6 players making their NFL debut, and with 3 of them starting, and possibly you probably can count. All right, our man Isaiah. You probably can count DeMarvion Overshown as a starter because when they went to nickel, he was the linebacker, not Leofau, and he had an amazing game. And the Cowboys were criticized because they only signed basically 3 veteran free agents when free agency began. Well, one of them just happened to be Eric Kendricks, and I think he's got some game left. By the way, he would have been the player of the game by most estimates. So
2 sacks, an interception, a pass defense, 9 tackles.
Oh my goodness!
And it was the first 2-sack game. How about this? First 2-sack game since 2016 when he was with the Vikings with Zim, and it was against the Packers and Mike McCarthy.
Oh, there you
Wow.
go.
McCarthy goes, "Thanks for reminding me."
Well, it seems like he's catching on pretty quickly to that Zimmerman defense there.
And
Yeah, right.
and Zeke
He had a lot to learn about that Zim defense.
Zeke had a touchdown, by the way.
The pick to click.
Yeah.
How about it? Oh, I set
Diggs
some
had
standards. He didn't get near 100 yards.
Diggs
I
had
think he
an
had 49
interception.
yards from scrimmage. Do I get credit for a pick to click because of Zeke scoring a touchdown?
That's a partial.
Well, do I get credit for Diggs' interception?
Yeah, you do.
Even
And
though the game
shutting
was
down,
well in hand.
right? Shutting down. You had Dak.
With
a very
300,
good
close
first
to
half. Very good
Hey,
first half.
Dak clicked even before the game started.
Yeah, right.
As of 10:20 Dallas time
I definitely
yesterday
win the
morning.
pick to click.
Yeah, you
That's-
win.
yeah,
You win.
jeez.
Yeah.
So when he came out for early warm-ups, like before they put their uniforms on or whatever, and he had his ear pods in, but he came by me and he's singing, right? And I go, I'd be singing too, but he didn't hear me, right? And I asked him after the game, I said, "So what were you singing?" He goes, "I don't know, whatever was in my ear pods. I wasn't singing because of the contract." I said, "Well, you should have been." Just like that.
All right,
And
but before we'll dive in more
there's
into
so
Dak,
much to unwrap. here.
I do want to say this though, because you mentioned Eric Kendricks, and it was tweeted out about Kendricks, and probably in the game notes, with his interception and 2 sacks, the 3rd player in franchise history.
Okay, but stop.
No, to
okay.
record 2
right.
sacks and an interception in the same game. Okay, it says the first since Tommy Haynes in 1987. Everson, do you recall a Tommy Haynes who played for the Cowboys in 1987?
And what was
As soon
87?
as I saw 1987 and I saw Tommy Haynes, I said, I've never heard of Tommy Haynes. And 1987 is the reason I've never heard of Tommy Haynes, because he was a replacement player.
There you go.
I've told them.
You cannot. That does not count.
Do not look at 87 for stats.
No.
Because
those 3
most
games.
of those things
Yeah.
are irrelevant because they were in the replacement.
That's right.
game.
So-
I bet Tommy Haynes is somewhere going, hey, yeah.
I looked him up, and nothing against Tommy Haynes. Okay, who apparently went to USC. I assume he played at USC.
Did he ever
He's now
play an
60
NFL
years
game
old. That
for
was
real?
The only 3 games he played in the NFL
That's what I
were
figured.
in the strike year in '87. So
I bet he's a Cowboy fan.
so Eric, not now after we're saying this,
Okay.
if he's listening. So Eric Kendricks, an interception, 2 sacks, the second player in franchise history. The first to do it was Jim Jeffcoat in 1985.
Okay. There you
So
go.
there you go. That one counts.
Look, the defense,
Coach.
the defense was impressive. And welcome back, Mike Zimmer, right? Plus, I heard he wasn't even happy after during the game, right? He was staying on them. At halftime, the longest play Cleveland had was 8 yards, a run and a pass reception. They only had 35. Say it right. Hang on. Their total yards at halftime was 54. And they had 35 yards rushing at the end of 3 quarters. So they ended up with 93, but a lot of it came
Hey, I was keeping track.
in the fourth quarter.
Through 8 possessions of this game, the Browns had 45 total yards and 1 first down. It was after the first possession and the punt return by Cavante Turpin. The total yards for the Browns was 45, and they had 1 first down.
They ended up 2 of 15 on third down.
The entire game?
Entire game. 2 of 15. 230 yards, but most of it came in the fourth quarter. And one of the possessions they had that they gained yards, it was the goofy 5th down play. When they basically ruled he was short on 4th down, Cowboys ball. The Cowboys run a play, and it was like, oh no, that 4th down counted after the Cowboys ran a play.
No.
Right? Didn't they?
No. They came out on the
down.
field.
It was 3rd down.
Yeah,
Was it 3rd?
But the Cowboys' offense came out on the field.
Right,
after the incompletion in the end zone.
But they had run a play on 4th down, right?
The Browns did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said that play shouldn't have. That was a
watching
first
on
down
television,
play.
it was totally confusing to us because it was evident to me watching on television. At least I thought. I wasn't paying attention to what they were saying on the broadcast or anything, but it looked like he got the first down. And so I wrote it down as a first down.
Right.
Okay. But apparently in the stadium, it wasn't conveyed that he got the first down.
No, because it was 4th down on the sticks.
Right. So.
And then they ran a play, and then they counted that as first down, incompletion. Unbelievable. And on the 66-yard field goal, number one, they started the 40-second clock as soon as Tolbert got up from being out of bounds. And secondly, the umpires standing over the ball while they were running their 11th player on the field, which they're not responsible for doing that. The Cowboys put their kicking team out there.
Right.
They had time to make their substitution.
They blew the whistle.
And he stayed on there till there was 8 seconds left before he released the ball. And then they thought that they had put more time on.
Which is why they didn't call timeout.
Right. 66-yard field goal. He made it from 70. 70. And you could hear they were 2 seconds behind. I mean, when the 25-second clock or whatever clock ran out.
I must admit, I was impressed, and I feel like the father that told his son what to do, and he went out and did it perfectly in this game. Offensively, did okay. Don't care if you do okay offensively. This team needs to have what they did yesterday, and a complete team. That's what they need to have. I've always talked about it. I get tired of these gaudy numbers offensively. I get it that you're going to get your money because you're throwing these touchdowns. Somebody's going to get his money because he's catching these touchdowns. That's great. Just come through when I need you to come through. I don't need you to blow anyone out. I don't need you to over-impress anyone. I need our defense to go out and keep the hounds at bay. That's what I need my defense to do. I need my special teams to hold everyone up, to not mess up with bad penalties, to keep the field position in our favor. And we do more than that. We're over the top because we have one of the best field goal kickers in the game. Offensively, you need to play off of us, just like I always talked about. This is what I need you to do. And I never saw stress, and that probably alarmed the coaches a little bit. They just never showed any stress during the game. And that may have given off a lackadaisical look to the coaches, but they were never threatened. Boring games like this on the road, and you played against the number one defense in the NFL, I say you can't complain about much in regards to your attitude when you went out there and played on the road against a team that has extremely high expectations. Now, something could happen after this with us. I don't know what's going to happen next week, all of that. But what I do know is we went in there ready to play for yesterday.
For 1 week. And they basically said, hey, we're the Cowboys, right? Not this national narrative about them finishing 8-9 and who knows what goes
that's
forward.
That's right. Who knows? Right?
But for one game, it was like we got some talented players on this team.
That's right.
Right?
And this defense did what they should have done against an offense that lost 3 offensive linemen.
Think about all the time spent and yards of words written about how they're going to stop Amari Cooper.
Right.
I had to check a couple times to see if he was on the field. He had 2 catches.
It's a team game, dude. This is a team game. Our defense came out there as a team. Everyone did what they had to do. Put pressure on the quarterback. Now you got the wide receivers covered. They can't score. They can't move the ball. Offense took their time. They ended up scoring in timely fashion. It's a team game.
What was the weather like in Cleveland yesterday?
It was unbelievable.
Like 75 degrees.
It'll never be better for a
How
road
bad
game.
was the wind?
The wind was strong.
Okay.
And that's why
Deshaun Watson's passes were going
Yeah,
out.
right.
The wind was always in his face, no matter what direction he was going.
Actually, he did better throwing into the wind than with it.
Either he was throwing the ball away a lot,
Yeah.
or something was going on there, because I don't recall a game in what seemed to be pristine conditions where so many balls were thrown out of bounds.
And they'll never play on another field, grass field, that was in such great shape.
Nice.
Which, by the way, they're going to tear it up because a Billy Joel concert is next on the field. And so they're ripping it up afterwards and putting down new sod.
That's smart.
If you can believe
smart,
that. But it was like a putting green. I mean,
Really?
The field was great, which helps the kicker, right? Because your cleats don't drag through some grass or whatever.
Well, it's not too soft.
Yeah.
You want firm.
Yeah,
grass.
and it was.
And speaking of Aubrey's field goal that he did make from 66 yards, which matched the preseason 66-yarder, I was disappointed that the broadcast crew did not realize he had made a 66-yarder in the preseason.
Oh, they didn't?
Kevin Burkhardt made the reference that in the preseason he's connected from around 60 or whatever, but he didn't have precisely. That was the exact same distance as his 66-yarder in Las Vegas.
And they needed to also point out that the record, the ball bounced on the crossbar to get
Justin
there from
Tucker's
66.
Justin Tucker's record in 2021.
So he
missed the
shares
chip
it. So he
shot.
shares it with the NFL record.
Well,
not
he
now
would
because
have.
the preseason doesn't really count.
The preseason doesn't count, but had that one had it not been a delay of game penalty, that would have matched the longest of all
And
time.
it was good from 70, where it
But was it good from 71?
well, I don't know. It might have bounced on the crossbar.
they they had Aubrey still out there to kick a 71-yarder.
Okay.
After the penalty, and then they decided better of it, which I think was the wise decision.
I do too.
Because of the return guy. We don't want Auburn, Alabama to play.
See, initially, I don't think
I look at it like this. You don't want your kicker exerting himself consecutively.
You don't.
You just don't want. It's like, you do pole vault. After a while, after so many pole vaults, you're not going to get any better.
I agree but the only way Cleveland was going to get back in that game was if something crazy happened where they had a return of a 71-yard field goal, and now all of a sudden a 20-3 halftime lead has cut to 20-10, and now it's a ball game.
I think
if you had Mike Tomlin out there, he could trip him up on the sideline.
I think if you're in a desperate situation, you go ahead and try it.
Of course.
But they weren't, and there was no sense making a mistake and letting them back in the game. And when they called timeout, they put the return guy in the end zone. And then it was like, you remember Auburn, Alabama? We better not do this.
Well, one thing I can say, this is the kind of game that you want to take on the road with you everywhere you go. You want this type of effort to travel. That's what
then you wouldn't be 4-5 on the road for the second straight.
Ran the ball well enough, not great, but well enough that they had to respect it. And CeeDee Lamb didn't look like he missed all of training camp.
He looked exactly the way I expected him to.
Right. And they supplemented the running game with him. He had that was a career high 25 yards of rushing. And they used Brandon Cooks, right? And
we sound like geniuses. We were geniuses last year. This is the last week. This is
on the touchdown pass to Cooks. They lined up 3 to that side. Both Lamb and Cooks were in the slot, and Lamb took some people with him, left them man coverage with the safety, and Dak threw the ball way before he broke, and that's why he was so wide open.
They were expecting his hot to be the two inside routes run by the other two receivers, and instead the hot was throw it deep for
they
flag
blitzed.
route, flag to Cooks, and the safety was nowhere to be found.
Which is a connection that we fed on last year as well. At
the end, but not early. I'm telling you, Cooks was really good in training camp practices. They had a great connection going. So
the archer is on target.
That's right.
Okay, is that what that is?
Yeah. That's his
thing.
archer. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. When we come back, this is the social media post of the morning. I've got it for you when we come back in just a moment on Mick Shots.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says...
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole made with real Hass avocados will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouthwatering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
Mex Tour is back. Head to AT&T Stadium on Tuesday, September 10th for a showdown between the Mexican and Canadian men's national teams. Don't miss another exciting soccer match in Arlington. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium training camp in Frisco.
Okay.
Are you going?
I don't know who wrote this. That's horrible.
Training camp in Frisco.
I know.
The soccer training camp is in Frisco. This is a soccer
but there
mecca.
There's a period between.
Okay, let me see it. Let me see.
You type that up.
I didn't type it up. Let me see. This is Monday Mex Tour. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to all right, the social media post of the morning. It is simply 3 words. God is good with an exclamation point, and it's from Jake Ferguson.
Yes. That's a relief.
Yeah.
The Cowboys thought, the doctors thought it wasn't a torn ACL, but they said, as usual, we got to do the MRI and see for sure. But their initial prognosis was it wasn't that. There was some thought it might be a hyperextended knee. I guess it got reported as an MCL, which normally means 2 to 4 weeks, somewhere in there. But they usually know when you tear your ACL, when they do the hand check, they can tell. They're pretty good.
You feel it. You can feel it.
So I told the guys this morning, that's like when I tore my Achilles. They immediately told me, you tore your Achilles. And I said, do we need an MRI? And the answer was, well, we'd be wasting our time and your money. So they know. So that's good news.
But they still don't know how long he'll be out.
Yeah, but you don't know how long. So we'll see on that one.
Would you care to hear what Todd Archer tweeted about it?
What did he say?
Okay, well, let me find it. I had it a second ago, and now we're pulling it back up. And he said 1 hour ago, Jake Ferguson could still play Sunday against the Saints after being diagnosed with a bone bruise and a minor sprain of the medial collateral ligament in his left knee, according to a source.
So the bone bruise is part of the hyperextension.
Okay.
That's what happens.
That is a player you do not want to lose.
No.
At all.
At all.
Boy, they almost had that pass down the seam, too, to him.
Defender came off another guy and got in the way of that.
Well, that's why they're a good secondary.
That's right. That's right. How about the catch by CD with Denzel on him?
Pass. The pass.
Yeah, the pass, too.
That's
the only place he could there.
Only place he could.
You know, and that kind of set the tone for the game.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, that got him, was it on a first down? I'm trying to remember. It was on that touchdown drive. It was 2nd and 10 at the 40. And I think when they got that, it was like, okay, here we go.
Because what had happened previously, how about you go back to the second play of the game?
Oh, I know.
We're all this concerned.
Right?
We got this rookie at left tackle. What's he going to do with Myles Garrett? We got this rookie Cooper Beebe at the center. How in the world? And the second play of the game is the future Hall of Famer. Dalvin Tomlinson gets the sack.
Yeah.
Who hadn't given up a sack in 6 years.
You didn't like the number 70 turning his around and going, oh, that's my guy.
And then poor Dak. I say poor Dak. He's rich Dak.
Yeah, can't say that anymore.
He gets it right in the face on his second play after signing his contract. Oh, my.
Welcome back to the NFL, buddy.
Yeah, welcome back to reality.
Uh-huh.
No, it could have been, you know how Cowboys were last year. There's always something dramatic going on. Well, that was good drama. I mean, they reacted to it well. It didn't overwhelm anyone. You know, it had nothing to do with the outcome of the game. there was nothing that a critic could hang his hat on and say that the Cowboys were distracted in any way by that.
Well, here's the other thing about Dak did not have great stats, didn't need to have great stats, which is a testament to Dak and the maturity that he has as a quarterback in this league, taking care of the football. And here's a great case in point as the other side of that coin, as Bill Parcells would say. In the break, we were talking about the Chicago Bears coming back to beat the Tennessee Titans.
Yes.
And what a great comeback it was for the number one overall pick in the draft, Caleb Williams. He led the Bears to the come-from-behind win. Well, Caleb Williams was 14 of 29 for 92 yards. Now, he didn't throw an interception. But there's something to be said for that. To my point, Will Levis on the other side, the Titans had a 17-3 halftime lead, and he did not take care of the football. Tyreek Stevenson had the go-ahead interception return for a touchdown, a ball that should not have been thrown from Will Levis.
Right.
And there's a difference in, okay, Ian, just you're talking about Dak and pregame warm-ups and so forth, just the way that Dak handles himself and everything. I mean, he is the rock of this team, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's if anyone is going to command that kind of salary or whatever, Dak is the one to have it, you know?
First half.
And CD.
Yeah, but even comparing him with other quarterbacks in the league, I mean, he's up there. It's just his turn right now. It'll be somebody else's turn come next spring.
But for this team,
exactly.
For this team, those two guys deserve the money.
That's right.
And look at the numbers. Look at the numbers at the numbers at the end of the first half when they went up 20-3, 14 of 21 for 156 and a touchdown, 104.5 quarterback rating, and CD had 4 catches for 58 yards. So, and Cooks at that time had 4 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. So, the difference between the first half and the second half.
On the road.
On the road.
Against the number 1 defense, guys.
At the dog pound.
Yeah, whatever. They just smoke a lot of good weed.
They got it. Funny you would say that because in the press box it kind of smelled like.
That's the thing. You're gonna smell it. The defensive backs had to line up in the end zone, and that's where we did our warm-ups with Nick Saban. You can smell it all the time. You I would always turn around and
That was the proximity to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, they wasn't even there yet.
That's right.
It wasn't even there yet.
They got a dog statue on the field now.
Oh, okay.
It's on wheels or
right.
whatever. Yeah. Sort of like the Viking horn deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got a dog now.
Do you like the scene at that stadium? It's been a while since you've been there.
It's getting old. But yeah, I mean, they want a new one. But I think the cool thing is looking up there and seeing the names.
Yeah.
Jim Brown.
Yeah, bro.
It's pretty neat.
So Guyton and Garrett.
Yes.
Yep.
What do you think?
I thought for a rookie playing his first game
against
the NFL
right.
defending
don't forget to leave
defensive player of the year.
And by the way, and along those lines with Myles Garrett, he's had 6 straight seasons to start his career with 10 or more sacks every season. Do you know the only player to have 7 straight seasons to start his career with 10 or more sacks in NFL history?
Reggie White?
Thomas?
Reggie White. Oh. Yeah. What do you say?
Derek Thomas.
Yeah. Well, that's another good choice, but Reggie White. That's the company Myles Garrett is keeping.
And the only reason I knew that or guessed it was because Reggie and Micah Parsons are the only 2 guys since sacks became official stat in '82 to have first 3 seasons in the NFL with at least 13 sacks. So, and he only had 1 sack. He probably should have had 2 or 3 more. Had the batted pass that ended up being intercepted, and he was just giving them fits from all over, right side, left side, middle side. They couldn't block him.
I thought that we did things that would have last year kind of taken us out of our comfort zone. I never thought we played that well on grass. I always thought we played better.
This is back with your weed talk, or
funny. I like that. That's a good one.
And they were smart with Guyton.
Yeah.
They put a tight end over there. Sometimes they had the tight end blocking, and then a couple of times I saw a guard pull out to help.
Mm-hmm.
So they were.
You should.
They were nudging him, right?
Yeah. You should give him help. You should give anyone help.
And think about what they did offensively, knowing that Garrett pretty tough. How many times you see Dak roll out? Right? They didn't let him just sit in the pocket. So you got him on motion, and that helps the protection. Yeah. So I thought they were really smart. Unlike Cleveland, leaving Watson just sitting in there with two backups, although they've played in the league, but they were two backup offensive tackles, and they let him a sitting duck in the middle of the pocket.
They're going to come back with like grades or something when they come back for Wednesday, maybe.
What's that?
The coaches.
Oh, for the Cowboys?
Yeah. I'd like to see what kind of grade
they gave them.
Would get.
That Guyton would get.
I bet BB might have graded out better than Guyton, but I thought I was watching. I thought I got to go back and watch it again. But he did a good job of staying in front of him. He got beat around the edge that one time, but it's going to happen. But yeah, I thought it wasn't noticed. It wasn't Chaz Green, right?
Right.
And the key is being able to do it week in and week out.
Right.
So, all right. When we come back here, the next critique of Everson Walls of his next read when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says...
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 cows and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer Caelen carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest fans you know. Now for a chance to win 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/fan of the year. Go Cowboys.
Trying to remember who Everson reminds me of on his reads there.
Not me.
Your grandnephew.
Are you styling your reads after anybody in particular, like an actor or somebody, Morgan Freeman or somebody?
Oh, please! I wish. I wouldn't be here. I'd be doing voices.
All right, Mickey, you got lots and lots and lots on your legal pad there.
So we were talking about Amari Cooper kind of disappearing. Were you able? I know it's hard on TV to kind of concentrate on Caelen Carson and how he played. To me,
they were trying to pick on him.
They tried picking on him. He had 2 pass breakups. Probably should have had an interception or 2 also.
I saw kind of the way I tried to critique it last week. You just need to play smart. You know, he was never out of position from what I could see. And he played within the realm of the defense. He didn't try to go off and be this shutdown corner. He simply played. It looked just like he played in college. He kept the leverage on the wide receiver. He made sure he didn't get beat deep. And when he had a chance to jump it,
he jumped that one. He didn't get there, but he jumped it.
Right.
It was a good play.
And that's what I noticed about him in college. His ability to come out of the break, he's top notch. That can get you in trouble, of course. But the way the Cowboys' defense was playing, it allowed him to stay within himself and not have to gamble. So that's why he was able to have the patience to make the plays when he had a chance to.
And they almost didn't even try Diggs too many times.
Well, first of all, he never had time to try anyone, really.
You're right.
I mean, that's what you have to look at. He immediately came out, Deshaun Watson, from under center. His footwork was already under duress. He never looked comfortable when he dropped back in the pocket. He seemed to be ready to run when that back foot hit. He didn't seem like he was ready to throw when the back foot hit. He was ready to escape when the back foot hit. You're not even looking downfield.
Okay, we got this as far as our rookie offensive lineman. Lowest pressure rates allowed by rookie offensive linemen in week 1. This is from the 33rd team.
What does that mean?
That's a reputable website.
Okay.
The 33rd team.
You let Mickey determine that.
I'll say this. I like the GMs, the former GMs that are on the 33rd team. And so that's why I say it's reputable. Okay. Cooper Beebe, Dallas. The pressure rate, 0%. 0 pressures, 36 pass snaps. These are all rookies.
Okay.
There were 2 others. Zach Frazier, the Pittsburgh center, 0%. Tyler Guyton, 5.6%. 2 pressures in 36 pass snaps.
Not bad.
So,
well,
especially considering the opposition.
Being on the
left side.
The opposition and being at that position.
Yeah.
Speaking of him getting rid of the ball, their top 3 receivers, running back, tight end. They had 13 of his 24 completions. So he was not having time to get the ball downfield to his regular receivers. A lot of dump-off stuff that he completed.
Okay, Overshown. What do you think?
Oh, wow.
I love Overshown.
Huh?
That's major. That's major. I mean, if we can continue with that.
9 tackles. He matched
he's so fast.
Kendricks.
And
9 tackles.
It's not just the tackles. It's where they were being made.
Right.
And it's the outcome of it because they stopped a lot of drives. They put them in a lot of third and longs.
The way he closes.
That sack.
Yeah.
I don't think Watson even thought he could get there. Right. He's scrambling to his right, and he's like shot out of a cannon. And what's like, where'd that guy come from?
And he's using it to get off of blocks. You know, he's using his quickness to get off of blocks.
So you said that Overshown was the nickel
He was the nickel
linebacker, and they were using Leofau. Now, the snaps total, Overshown had 44 snaps on defense. Leofau had 9 snaps.
Yeah, and they were basically a nickel the whole time. And they...
which is not going to be unusual when the Cowboys are ahead by that much. The other team is usually going to be in nickel, and their 3 wide receivers set a lot more than.
Basically, got the start. Everybody was, Leofau's depth chart, he's listed as the starting linebacker. Mm-hmm. Well, when they're playing 3, yeah. But when they go to nickel, Overshown was rotating in. And
I like that too, as far as having sub packages for them to where they're involved. Okay, and you're playing to their strengths, but also, Damone Clark got 26 snaps at linebacker, and Nick Vigil got 25 snaps at linebacker.
How many tackles did Damone
have? 4.
Vigil came in, I want to say it was the second half. He came in for 2 consecutive possessions when Kendricks was out. And we kind of called that, Bill, when we said, well, they may elevate him
Vigil,
just to have an experienced linebacker on the field. I don't know that.
I didn't even notice him because I think he was in mainly in garbage time late in the game, what Mickey's talking about. Because Kendricks had 51 snaps, and they had 72 snaps, I think, on offense. Micah had 69 snaps.
Damn.
And they had 72. Cleveland had 72 snaps on offense because the corner Trayvon had 72, Hooker had 72, and Donovan Wilson in the secondary. But
he had an assisted tackle and 1 special teams tackle.
Who?
Vigil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how many snaps did Joseph and Phillips get? Did you get that?
They had
Jordan
Phillips had 15 snaps and Linval Joseph had 13 snaps. So that tells you also.
Mozzie?
And Mozzie had 23 snaps.
Okay.
DeMarcus Lawrence had 52. Osa had 61.
Osa.
And that's one thing that looking back at Zimmer's history. He doesn't rotate if he's got a mainstay like an Osa Odigizua in there, he'll leave him on the field.
Right,
That's what he used to do back in the day when Linval Joseph was 25 instead of 35 or whatever, and 28 instead of 35. He would get a lot more snaps than that. So he'll rotate as needed, but if he's got a horse, he keeps him on the field.
It really does seem to me that the safeties were favoring the wideouts. I really thought they were favoring the wideouts, and that because they had no pressure coming from the run, they didn't even try to run the ball as much as they should have. Mm-hmm. So those safeties stayed back. You didn't really see them trying to come up and stop the run. We didn't need to have 8 men in the box, and that really gave us a lot of help in the back. And that to me, I believe that's why we were so successful. And when Deshaun is looking outside, you're seeing no one open.
We've seen that before, like in the season opener, the Giants, and where they would abandon the run early in the game. And
that's what I was going to say. Dan Quinn was a part of that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to sit here and just
say it
was Zim. That's because
it's all Zim.
We had some commander game. We had a commander game, a Giants game, to where that defense that we vilified last year, Buffalo and all of that, they were balling. They had the same type of outcome. They had the same type of blowout. So I'm still going to sit back in my easy chair and chill for a minute.
Well, they ran the ball 19 times. They ended up with 93 yards, and it looks like, they almost averaged 5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. But 2 of the runs were for 27 yards. Mm-hmm. So the majority of they shut down that running game.
And once again, on the road.
On the road.
I'd like to point this out with help from someone with 6 Pro Bowls.
Oh, Lord. Go ahead, man.
Cleveland played an even front, so the center was more of a helper because he had no one over him in 96% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's okay.
So it didn't help. He didn't help. The center
he must have helped.
He did
So when you get back to the pressure rate and not giving up sacks, whatever, you're not
kind of
one-on-one where you're not going to get charged with a sack.
Let's keep that going.
Okay. All right. That does it for
Thank
a
you,
victory. That wasn't. No, I said it was a six-time Pro Bowler.
Sorry,
I didn't mention him by
Just
name.
a guy.
I didn't mention him
Just
by name.
another six-time Pro Bowler out
He's
there.
lurking.
He's
now.
not lurking in the background at this point.
Right. I'm not going to call him out. All right.
And make sure everybody behaves themselves driving to the game on Sunday. Okay?
Yeah.
That's right.
Don't get put
You
face
too.
down.
Yeah, you too. They're gonna see
get
you
mad
get
at
arrested.
somebody, right?
Spags got
Come on, I got a badge. Why do you let me in?
And if you do score an 80-yard touchdown and they come from behind, victory.
Yeah.
All right, that does it for Mick Shots. Nate Newton is lurking in the background here. And we will shout at you again tomorrow here on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!